Draw a family test. Draft is a projective technique that can be administered individually or in group tests. It does not only provide clues on individual family members with regards to their personalities, but also serve as a diagnostic device. Here, members of the family, father, mother, and siblings, find opportunity for self-expression, consequently revealing and relieving innate difficulties within the family system. After interview, the family will be informed of the purpose of the assessment tool, which was to gain more insights into family situations in order to have a better understanding of the nature of their problems. The family can be seated around a table, where each family member can be provided with a blank, clean, unruled bond paper and a lead pencil with an eraser. Subjects are to be instructed as follows. Kindly draw your family and its members, the whole body. You may include and exclude anybody you wish. There's no right or wrong. You can draw any member of your family who comes first into your mind. Take your time. There are no hard or fast rules. The examiner notes subjects' comments, sequence in which the parts are drawn, and other procedural details. Drawings will be analyzed using the interpretations made by a clinical psychologist based on Draw a Person test and kinetic family drawing. Projective drawing, like draft, has been found to be useful and revealing because of the following reasons. Patients exhibiting evasiveness and guardedness seem more likely to reveal their underlying traits in psychodynamics in the drawing because subjects are more intellectually aware of what they might expose through verbal communications. Drawings can be an expression of the unconscious label that represents an adulthood basic needs. Drawings are first to show incipient psychopathology and the last to lose signs of illness after patient recovers. FES, Family Environment Scale. This tool is a 90-item questionnaire developed by MOS. Separate scales of family parameters are included in the results. It is being used as a research tool to compare healthcare results with family variables. Clinical biographies and life chart. We know that illness is not randomly distributed within or among populations. Some people get sicker more often than others. The individual's experiences with health and sickness are connected with his personal life. If doctors understand the life story and the connections between a person's experiences of health and illness, they might be better doctors. Clinical biographies and life charts are valuable tools which can facilitate analysis of connection. If life events and clinical events are put side by side according to dates of occurrence, we will be able to show the correlation between the two. Family Ecomap. Pictorial representation of the elements of patient's environment and of the nature and quality of the interactions between elements. Highlights the supports and conflict. A tool designed to reflect family relationships and interaction patterns. It can illustrate 3 separate dimensions for each connection: strength of connection, weak, tenuous, or uncertain, strong; impact of connection, none, draining resources or energy, providing resources or energy; quality of connection, stressful, not stressful. Important for the physician in obtaining therapeutic ally for the delivery of care. Schematic description whom to ask for assistance in making decisions for the patient. The purpose of an ecomap is to create shared awareness between a family and their social workers of the family's significant connections and the constructive or destructive influences those connections may be having. Ecomaps are necessary and valuable as part of family assessment because it enables a structured, consistent process for gathering specific, valuable information related to the current state of a family or individual being assessed. Supports the engagement of the family in a dialogue, identifies and illustrates strengths that can be built upon and weaknesses that can be addressed. Summarizes complex data and information into a visual, easy-to-see and understand format to support understanding and planning. Illustrates the nature of connectedness and the impact of interactions in predefined domain areas. Provides a consistent base of information to inform and support intervention decisions. Allows objective evaluation of progress. Workers can observe impact of interventions, both on the family and on other elements of their environment. Helps support integration of the concept of family assessment as an ongoing process. Reduces narrative in other parts of the family assessment process. Integrates the values and concepts and the real power of system theory in a practical way. Family systems theory. Family-oriented medical care involves assessing how a family's functioning plays a part in both the illness and health of its members. In the systems concept of Minuchin, 1978, the family is a continuous interlocking human relationship organized in such a way that when there is a change in one family member, the other family members are affected. The concept emphasizes the interconnectedness of human beings in their intimate environment and is based on the following axioms. The family is more than a collection of individuals. Families have repeating interaction patterns that regulate member behavior. An individual's symptoms may have a function within the family. The ability to adapt to change is the hallmark of healthy family functioning. There are no victims and victimizers in families. Through the application of the systems concept, we see the family as more than the sum of its parts. It is organized by interpersonal structures and processes that enable it to be both stable and adaptable over time. In a family system, there are various changes which occur as related to illness. How each member copes can lead to either dysfunction or adaptability. The family system is influenced by its psychodynamics and life cycle. Family dynamics assessment using Minuchin's family map. Family psychodynamics. Problems in our families of origin often repeat themselves in the families we create ourselves, however much we might wish it were not so. Learning about past family members and their relationships, including where people got stuck, can free one to change his or her future. McGoldrick, 1995. In order to understand the family psychodynamics, one must get data on family structure, processes, and typology. Family structure is the behavioral skeleton around which family life is built. Minuchin's has 4 basic notions in the theory of family dynamics. Transactional patterns are the repeating sequences of interaction in who relates to whom, when, and how. It takes the role of family rules developed over time. Rules may be overt or covert. Overt rules clearly stated, covert rules not stated, but everyone agrees to conform. Adaptation refers to the availability of alternative transactional patterns and to the family's ability to mobilize these alternatives when necessary. Subsystems in a family are the smaller units, such as the couple and siblings. Subsystems are the ways in which a system differentiates and carries out its function: support, nurturance, regulation, and socialization of its members. Boundaries of a subsystem are the rules defining who participates in the subsystem and how they participate. A family who is not open to negotiation, despite the fact that circumstances render the old boundaries no longer appropriate, is considered rigid. Rigid boundaries exist if couples spend little time together, have separate bedrooms, or completely separate lives. Rigid boundaries create dysfunctional families when members fail to adjust during phase transitions. Rigid boundaries may lead to disengagement. Diffuse boundaries exist when there is a lack of clarity and by intrusion by one subsystem into another. Diffuse boundaries exist if they tend to lose their identity or become too dependent on one another, i.e., I don't exist without you, no separate friends or interests, must always agree on everything. Diffuse boundaries may lead to enmeshment. Family processes. Enmeshment occurs when boundaries are diffuse, when the parents have no privacy from their children. It occurs when members are overly reactive to stress on one member and demonstrate a lack of individual autonomy. Disengagement is characterized by boundaries that are too rigid, as when the mother-child subsystem excludes the father's involvement in parenting. Triangulation occurs when a third person is drawn into a two-person system so as to diffuse anxiety or conflict. This tendency to triangulate is a frequent occurrence and appears to be part of normal family functioning. However, if this pattern of involving a third party in order to negotiate a relationship becomes part of the regular family functioning over a longer period of time, then it is seen as symptomatic or unhealthy. Such a pattern will cause a family system to become more rigid in its way of functioning and will cause problems. A coalition is the relationship between at least 3 people where 2 collude against the other. The 5 basic functions performed by all families. Families provide support to each other. Support can be physical, financial, social, and emotional. Families do a lot of things together as a unit and have a sense of belonging to one another. Families establish autonomy and independence for each person in the system, which enhance personal growth of individuals within the family. Each individual in the family has defined roles to play within and outside the limits of the family. Thus, while families do a lot of things together, they do other things separately. The essence of the autonomy function is the ability to maintain the integrity of each individual member. Families create rules that govern the conduct of the family and of the individuals within the family. These rules often deal with interaction patterns, privacy, authority, and decision-making. These are rules of behaviors that are mostly unwritten and become apparent when an outsider visits the family. Families adapt to change in the environment. It is essential that the family adapts changes and grows in order to progress from one stage to another in the family's life cycle. There are 2 types of changes. The first order change involves adaptation to environment change that requires minimal change in the family structure. An example is a change that is present when a family moves to a new residence. The second order change involves fundamental change in the family structure. A good example is when a family moves into the stage of the birth of the first child. Husband becomes the father and wife becomes the mother of a dependent sibling. These involve significant shifts in family dynamics, roles, and often the overall family structure. A 15-year-old boy turns his bedridden father, that is, SIP, cerebral vascular accident, to prevent formation of pressure ulcers. This is a second-order change. The son is taking on a caregiving role, significantly altering the family dynamics and responsibilities. A 17-year-old girl left their house to live in a dorm within the school premises for her senior high school track. This is also a second-order change. The daughter moving out represents a shift in family structure and requires adjustments in roles and boundaries. A 13-year-old boy is slowly showing secondary sexual characteristics, such as facial and body hair. This is a second-order change. Puberty brings significant physical and emotional changes impacting family interactions and requiring adjustments in parenting approaches.